Hey guys, how's it going? This is the Bald Metal Nerd coming at you with another video. In this one, I thought I would talk about a topic that I've been talking about a decent amount recently, and that is, of course, the humble cassette. Because if you've read the title, you already know what this video is about. Basically, I thought I would just share some thoughts on a mixtape that I made with my, recently acquired Sony cassette deck, and it really is amazing how good or how much better cassettes can sound when utilized on decent equipment. This mixtape that I made today, I recorded it all today. It's 90 minutes, 45 minutes per side. I've listened all the way through. I've listened all the way back through side A and about halfway of side B. And to my ears, it sounds much, much better than the pre-recorded tapes that I bought. So I found that interesting. You would think the pre-recorded, store-bought tapes sound better, but no, that's not the case. But then again, it could be that it's hard to find brand new pre-recorded tapes in this day and age. Most of what you find are going to be maybe old and worn down and not sound. But yeah, I mean, because honestly, compared to this tape, the pre-recorded tapes that I have really just they kind of sound like ass. I was really impressed with the sound of the tape that I made myself. Um, and it's not like the deck that I have is extremely high end. I mean, back in the 90s, when it was new, it probably retailed for probably 100 and some odd bucks. So it wasn't a cheap piece of junk, but it certainly wasn't. It's not a Nakamichi Dragon or anything along those lines either. So yeah, it's just amazing to me how decent cassettes can sound on decent equipment. So anyway, when I was playing this back, by the way, it does not sound as good as digital because, of course, it's a tape. And this is a Type 1 tape to boot. So how did I record it? You may or may not be asking yourself. Well, if you watch my recent videos, I did some comparisons of no noise reduction, Dolby B and Dolby C on this deck. I finally managed to make a decision. I thought the best, basically, noise reduction to frequency response compromise was using just good old Dolby B with this Type 1 tape. So I recorded it with Dolby B. And on playback, I noticed that some of the material, it sounded absolutely fantastic, real close to the original digital, and some of it did sound a bit thin. But here's the thing. Everything that I recorded was I wanted to make the first tape that I wanted to make was kind of my classic rock tape. So basically, it was a whole bunch of stuff from the 70s. That was probably the most prevalent decade, and a smattering of a few things from the 60s and the 80s, but mostly the 70s. But it was all basically from what I would call the analog era, And of course, with old music, some of that stuff is going to be remastered, some of it's not. So some of it obviously was the original mastering, some of it wasn't. So I'm sure a lot of that affected how it sounded on this ultimately. And did I use analog sources? Of course not, because I wasn't going to attempt to plug in, say, my turntable to the. I don't have a tape loop in my amplifier, so I can only directly connect to the line in, so I use the convenient digital iPod as my source. So, like I said, nothing sounded as good as the original, but some of it was damn close. I was really, 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 really impressed with how some of it sounded. Like I said, other of it a bit thin, but still decent. It's still nothing sounded worse than the pre. Everything sounded pretty good. It definitely better than those pre-recorded tapes that I bought. But then again, it could be due to those pre-recorded tapes' age, and maybe they've been played too many times. I don't know. So it's really interesting to me how playback quality can kind of be all over the place, you know, with the tapes. So yeah, I mean, it's basically the bottom line of this is you never really know what you're going to get in a cassette recording, so it kind of actually makes it kind of fun in a strange way. You know, and just for comparison's sake, I am going to be putting an order together at some point. I did find a website where I can get some really high quality Type 1 and Type 2 tapes. Uh, I'll be making a video about it when I get them in. I don't know exactly when I'm going to place the order. Just really depends on time and money like everything else. So when I get a little of those things, I'll order some Type 1 and Type 2 tapes and get those in and talk about those. Now, as an aside, if any of you guys out there know a good place to get Type 4 metal tapes, please let me know. I would really appreciate that knowledge because, I mean, I can find individual Type 4 tapes, but I think the cheapest ones I found are like 13 bucks for blanks individually for Type 4 tapes, either on eBay or Amazon. If you guys know any place else where you can get them for a more reasonable cost, let me know, please. I would really appreciate it. I kind of know that this video went in all sorts of different directions, but these were just some really random thoughts I had, and you know, I just wanted to express, hey, you can get good sound out of tapes. You have decent equipment. Does that mean you should invest your time and money into tape? That's up to you. It's a fun hobby, but ultimately, of course, kind of pointless in 2016. But it is a lot of fun. Yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. If you did like what you see, as always, please thumbs up, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Thanks a whole lot for watching. I'll catch you guys next time.